You could have the most beautiful storefront, beautiful picture, have one of the best interior designers. Your store could look absolutely beautiful. But if your services, what you're selling doesn't apply, if it's in a bad area, if there's not a lot of foot traffic in front of your storefront, then it doesn't matter how beautiful that storefront is. You're not going to get any sales. There's a lot more that has to happen in order for you to get people into your store and actually start selling antiques. And that's the same thing when it comes to digital marketing. Your website is your digital store. You can have the most beautiful website, and you want to. You want to invest and put money towards having a beautiful website. You want to invest in have a website that converts. So when people are in it or land on the website, that you're able to get those leads. But just having that website sitting just like the antique store, that's not going to make people walk up or come to it if they have no clue where it's at. They have no clue where it is. If there's nothing really pulling them to that store, then there's nothing that's going to happen. That's your website. And that's where SEO comes in. Welcome to another episode of DM Shop Talk, or Digital Marketing Shop Talk. As always, I'm your host, Mike Mahaffey, and we're really excited to dive into today's episode. If you've been with us for the past few episodes, you'll know that we're currently going through a series called Mythunderstandings. What we're basically doing is going through a lot of things that we've heard in the industry that might be misunderstood or might be a myth, or things that are talked a lot about that might not be inherently true, especially when it comes to home service businesses. In today's Mythunderstanding is the idea that a brand new website, a beautiful website, is all you need to get leads online. It unfortunately, as much as we'd love for that to be true, it is why it's today's Mythunderstanding. By having a beautiful website, it's the start, really, just the beginning, to really build your digital presence online. It's just the start. If you remember correctly, one of the first episodes we had a while back, Jeremy and I had a discussion where we listed digital marketing tasks that we believe all home service businesses should be doing, and in order, we put it in a list that we viewed we should prioritize. And towards top that list was the website. So what I mean by this being a Mythunderstanding doesn't mean you don't need it. You definitely need a website that is beautiful, that converts, it shows off your services well, shows off you well. That is definitely needed. But today's Mythunderstanding is that that's not all you need for you to get leads. I like to present it like this. For us to further dive into why it's not necessarily true, we need to really open up what the role of a website really is. And the role of a website, if you could imagine, is your digital storefront. And what I mean by that is if you're opening up a nice new antique shop downtown in your area, you could have the most beautiful storefront, beautiful picture, have one of the best interior designers. Your store could look absolutely beautiful. But if your services, what you're selling doesn't apply, if it's in a bad area, if there's not a lot of foot traffic in front of your storefront, then it doesn't matter how beautiful that storefront is. You're not going to get any sales. There's a lot more that has to happen in order for you to get people into your store and actually start selling antiques. And that's the same thing when it comes to digital marketing. Your website is your digital store. You can have the most beautiful website, and you want to. You want to invest and put money towards having a beautiful website. You want to invest in have a website that converts. So when people are in it or land on the website, that you're able to get those leads. But just having that website sitting just like the antique store, that's not going to make people walk up or come to it if they have no clue where it's at. They have no clue where it is. If there's nothing really pulling them to that store, then there's nothing that's going to happen. That's your website. And that's where SEO comes in. or search engine optimization if you aren't familiar with the term SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. That is your ongoing efforts to really bring in your digital foot traffic into your website or your digital storefront. As I said, the website and the digital storefront, that's not going to be all you can or all you need. You need to be able to be putting effort, whether that's actual effort, whether that's putting some marketing dollars or marketing budget towards SEO, so that you can bring people to your website. Once again, you really do want a website that converts, that's well designed, that's appealing to the eye, but it doesn't stop there. You need to be putting effort into the SEO, and that's how you continue to get that traffic. And so what does that mean? Well, realistically, our goal when it comes to SEO is Google rankings. We want to rank better on Google. The amount of times that our team at Valorous Circle has gotten phone calls from home service business owners talking about like their goal is, I want to be ranking on or better on Google. Why aren't I showing up on Google? My competition are all ranking me higher than Google. Well, this is where it starts, and it's putting that effort, putting those marketing dollars into the SEO. And so really, because we hear it so often that home service business owners want to be ranking better than their competitors, it really starts here. Because unfortunately, the reality is, if you're putting the dollars and you're putting the time and effort to invest into a website, odds are your competitors are as well. And let's say you're a local plumber in a small to mid town. If there's 4 or 5 plumbers in that town and they all have beautiful websites, then obviously those websites aren't going to be enough. It's not going to be enough, because those websites are going to be pulling in the traffic. In whatever business in your area is taking the extra step to start putting efforts and putting a budget in, whether that's having someone on your team do it, whether that's hiring someone else to do it, whether that's hiring an agency like Valorous Circle to do your online marketing, SEO, and whatnot. Whatever company is investing and putting time and efforts in there, those are the companies that are going to have the leverage when it comes to Google's eyes and when it comes to ranking you. And that's really the importance of SEO. If you want to be beating out your competition, then you need more than just a beautiful website, because your competition is going to have that beautiful website. You want to be putting in and creating a strategy that is that SEO. So I keep talking about this SEO. So what does that look like? What does it look like actually putting in a strategy when it comes to SEO and ranking better on Google? Well, like in a lot of our previous episodes, if you've seen them before, it can really start with your Google business profile, creating and optimizing your Google business profile, posting on it on a regular basis, posting and updating your pictures on there. If you're doing a local job, then you want to take some fun pictures, some before and afters, be posting that to your Google business profile, interacting with your Google reviews, making sure that you're getting more 5-star reviews. And when you are getting more reviews, regardless if they're positive or negative, you want to make sure you're interacting with them, thanking the people for the 5-star reviews, addressing the concerns from the negative reviews, because the more you interact on your Google business profile, the more that Google is going to favor you. But outside of using Google's tools, which is the Google business profile, we really want to look at what's going to bring people to your website, and that's going to be optimizing for those local searches. So understanding those keywords. And this is where we're going to bring back why it's important to continue to update your website and optimize it for SEO. And that's really to target these terms, the keywords that your local community is going to be looking for. And so let's say you're a roofer in Lansing, Michigan. The local community, they're going to continue to search for terms like roofers near me, roofers in Lansing, Michigan. Where can I find a roofer? Where can I find a roofer in Lansing, Michigan? These are all terms that your local community is going to be searching for on Google. And so when they go to Google and they're typing in these searches, it's up to the Google machine to really run through the area and see what websites are optimized for those local searches, for those terms. And so that's why it's important. If you just update and create that very beautiful site, but you don't continue to add content that incorporates these important keywords, then you're going to be missing out, and your competition is going to have another step above you. And it's most likely already why they're already ranking higher than you as we speak, because they might be already optimizing for those pages. And that's where blogs come in. If you're not familiar with blogs, a lot of websites, if not most websites, have blog pages. And that's where you can continue to post on a regular basis on your website to add little articles or little written pages where you put content on there, written content on there to target these specific roofers. So let's say we're talking about roofing terms. So let's say we're trying to get the term roofer maintenance, and that's the keyword we want to be ranking for. Then we can write an article with maybe the title of how can I get roofer maintenance in Lansing, Michigan. That could be the headline, and then we write a brief article all about roofer maintenance and talking about the Lansing area and how they can contact you and how you guys or how your team can help them. And let's post that blog that week. And then this is something you continue to create a schedule and write these blogs out and really target these keywords, because that's what's going to feed Google. We want to continue to feed Google with these keywords. And if we're not writing any of these blogs, then when someone types in roofer maintenance in Lansing, Michigan, then odds are Google's just going to skip right over your website because they don't see it on your website. And they're going to go right to your competitor, who more or less might have it on their website, and they're going to give leads and send people to your competitor's website instead. So blogging is so crucial to continue to add to your website on a regular basis, just because that's really what's going to be feeding Google. That's what you want. Google, you want to be competitive. You want to be ranking well for these keywords in an organic way. And so that's the best way to do it, is continue to add content to your websites targeting these keywords. So hopefully at this point, I've been able to express why it's so important to go above and beyond just having a beautiful website. There's a lot of strategy, and there's a lot of key indicators that you can be putting in strategies to help your website rank better than your competitors, because that's the ultimate goal. We want to be getting your website in your business those leads, those phone calls coming in from Google, and so you're beating out your competition. But what now? Let's say you've been doing this for 6 months in a year. I mean, one month it's looking good and another month's looking bad. Just like everything, just like any practice in your business, just like really any facet in life, you want to take a step back, take time to evaluate what's going on. You really need to take time to look at the key performance indicators, or the KPIs, what's working and what's not. And so it's important, as I was just talking about those keywords that you want to be ranking for, the easiest way to do this is if you sit down at the very beginning when you're starting to optimize your website and creating those blogs that we talked about, that you have a list of the keywords, the list of the terms that you want to be ranking for, or you want to appear for when people are searching for you on Google. So once again, if you're a roofer, that could be roofer near me, local roofers, roofer in the town, and all these roofer maintenance, roofing problems, all of these that you want your business to appear. You want to make a list of them and look at which ones are relevant. And this takes some research at times. Obviously, those ones that I just listed, those are very basic. Every roofer is going to be looking for those. You want to look for some more specific ones that you want to look for. So like answering questions, what to do if I have a leak in my roof, some of those very specific ones. And the only way you're going to know about those is if you do some research. So once again, taking a step back, you want to make a list of those keywords that you want to be ranking for. And so you can take the proper strides to see and measure on a regular basis how you're ranking for those words. So let's say you write a blog for 5 or 6 of these keywords. So you're expecting to try to start ranking for these keywords. Well, 3-4 months down the road, you can look back and see, all right, am I ranking for roofers near me? Am I ranking for roofer maintenance near me? Am I ranking for this? Am I ranking for this? And just like a lot of things, you could be ranking for this word. You might not be ranking for this word. You might be ranking really well for this word. You might not be ranking well at all for this word. And so when you're doing that, this allows you to review, okay, what have I done? Should I, if I'm not ranking for this word, should I write a second article to kind of connect those two to continue to add Google fuel? Should I adjust the way this one's worded and continue to add Google fuel? And so a lot of it, just like everything, you want to take a step back. You want to make sure you're measuring what you're doing, and so that you're taking the proper steps, because the last thing you want to do is be shooting a shotgun and just spraying it out there and being blind to the results that you're seeing. Or else you can be posting a bunch of blogs on your website, but they could be all over the place and Google has no clue what you're doing. So it's always good to have those KPIs, those things that you measure to make sure that you are taking the proper steps, and obviously with the end goal of getting more phone calls each month. And I know a lot of this, I'm really just scratching the surface. There are many people that study SEO optimization, how to rank better on Google for years. They spend their whole life trying to understand Google and how to rank better on it. And so that's, for a shameless plug, where Valorous Circle is always a company that would love to at least just have a conversation with you of if a lot of the things that I discussed today are things that you might not want to really dive into, or you just don't have the time. Obviously, there's no amount to how busy you as a business owner can be. And so things can get complicated. And the last thing you want to be doing is starting to worry about this stuff. And that's where we pride ourselves. That's where we want to step in and really help you, so you don't have to worry about it. We create this partnership and you join one of our marketing membership packages, and we're off for the races, and we'll be worrying about this for you. We'll be doing that research, finding those keywords I talked about, and writing those articles for you in order to help you beat out your competition online. That's the goal. Obviously, I know you guys are busy, but realistically, hopefully, I've been rambling a lot this podcast, but really just want to stress enough that although it is very important to start with a beautiful website that converts, that really expresses and shows what your company does and what your services are, but that's just the starting point. That's just the starting point, and it continues. It is important, and I can't stress it enough how much effort and strategy there needs to be on an ongoing basis. Or just like everything else, your competition will be doing it, and they'll be outranking you and getting those phone calls that you're going to be wanting. And I also want to throw this out there as well, that I do in most podcasts, is the goal of this podcast is to create a community. I know I can sit here and talk about marketing strategies all day long, but ultimately I want to invite home service businesses. I want to invite you who's listening on here with me, so we can just have a natural discussion, so we can talk about what your business story is, so we can hear the successes and learn from your successes, so we can hear from some of your failures and learn from your failures. We really just want to build a community around this podcast. And so there's obviously plenty of work to go around, and so why not take the time to help each other and communicate with each other in a way that's helping everybody grow their businesses. And so hopefully you took a lot about this podcast. If you ever have any questions whatsoever, you can reach out at the bottom of the screen through this podcast. You can see our link tree that links you to our websites, links you to our contact information, and we'd love to have a further conversation with you, whether it's about joining an episode for a podcast, whether it's about possibly joining one of our packages in partnering with us on a regular basis for marketing, or whether it's just a conversation. Maybe you just have a couple questions, or we would love to at least start that conversation with you and help you out there. But hopefully you guys got a lot from this podcast, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next podcast.